feels like they got some sort of a semblance of a grasp on it. Or was it just information overload for all you guys? A little complex? Don't be afraid to say yeah. To the complexity of the block flow drill.
I like it.
I know you dig it. But did you grasp it? A little bit? You weren't even here.
That's my point.
And they call you Bruce. So, what I'm going to do is just go off of the block, the motion of the block, starting it as a flinch. So everybody, you're just sitting there, go left side, right side. Left side, right side. And this is just backup or augmentation.
Right.
One of the Pinon forms has an augmented block in it. You were doing Pinon Nidon, right? Or you were doing Nidon and Shodan, so the Nidon, right? I can't remember which one, but there's an augment. I think it's Nidon has the augmented block. Anyway, so augmentation, it backs it up. And what we're doing with the shielding is simply that. Like Sensei Dave was talking about reaction and flinch response and the ambush. A lot of people spend time training martial arts face to face. They square off face to face, and everything happens within the field of awareness that you can see. And when I teach awareness, that's the first thing that I teach all my students, because it's your #1 safeguard. Most people get ambushed or hurt when they're not aware of their surroundings. I know as Aikidoka, you guys practice the Ma-ai concept of distancing. Okay? Before I get too much into the flinch, I do want to cover a little bit about range. Takayama Sensei. Ma-ai, I would have, in my thinking, Ma-ai to me, spatial relationships means my relationship, the space between us, and it's everything, the wall, you. When I look at an attacker or an opponent, and I prefer the term attacker because I'm not here to compete, and he's not my opponent, he's a fellow human being. Hopefully I don't have to hurt him to end this. And I can avoid conflict just by staying out of harm's way. But when we look at ranges, what range am I in? And what tools does he have available to assault me with? If I'm out here and he has a gun, this isn't going to do me much good at all. I don't want to be here. Okay? One thing is, a lot of martial arts, if you take a circle, your basic sphere of awareness, and you just split it in half, and like the yin and yang, one is light and one is dark, most martial arts spend 80% or more of their time on the light side of the coin. And that's the side that you have the most control over. They spend a very small percentage on what happens back here. You don't have much control, or you have to get to see. Ideally, if I go to attack him, his first objective is what? To turn around so you can see what the heck's going on. So we always, I think that's a large part of the reason why most styles and systems spend so much time there. But I think that there's a lot of merit in spending time getting from this ambush stage to the light side of the coin. Because if you can't, there is no light side at the end of the tunnel anymore. Or could end up that way. So the ambush factor is really important. So looking at, I want to kind of break out of the box, and instead of have Sensei attack me from here, we'll spend a little bit of time with the ambush. And we're not going to go completely off the dark side, but just kind of out of the corner of your eye. So say we're in a social setting or whatever, and maybe we're both at the bar waiting for a drink or something. And this time he doesn't like my haircut, you know. And I might see him, I might not see him, whatever, and he decides to throw a punch at me. I'm going to just put that shield up. That's going to protect me to some degree. Okay? So the first movement is whenever you see him, boom, and drop your center a little bit. Because the other thing is, if this doesn't protect me, this is sure going to. Not just happy to see you. So the other thing is as he goes to attack, boom, and I drop. That's going to protect me too. I can also take the shielding concept And whenever he moves, I'm using it as an elbow, up under. I can use, turn as he fires that punch, boom, this can come up. If it gets him in the face, great. Gets him in the ribs, gets him in the arm. A lot of options. I like the swats that are going. They're a nice little opener. They break the ice really well. So, he's going to throw his tack. I'm going to flinch right here. Okay. Next, I want to look at what I have readily available. Right from here, here's a nice little hit to the side of the head. Everybody see this? Okay. So, I've opened him up. It's kind of going off of some of what Sensei Dave was teaching. This is already right there. Okay. Boom. There's your break. Right? From there, take them. Right? Yep. Notice the back of the head, hit the shin, right? And that nice little off spot, the off switch. This baby right back here, that's the off switch. That's the $1 million mark right there. Doesn't take much force to really put a guy out. What you really want to be careful of though is too much force, because you can really mess somebody up. One thing I really want to point out, just like the light and dark side of the coin, if you're not researching use of force law in your state as a martial artist, you should be. And that's something that goes unspoken, unresearched, and unpresented in a lot of schools. There are people like Rory Miller, who's author of Meditations on Violence, and several other books now that he's been in law enforcement. He's now out of that field, but these are things you want to think about, because if you're forced to use your skills to keep yourself safe, you're either going to have to answer, if you don't just get out of there and run and nobody sees you, you're probably going to have to answer to the police or a judge. And you're going to need to know how to articulate, and you're going to want to think about this. As Aikido practitioners, you're a lot more focused on peace, harmony, restraining the attacker. Probably what, 20–30% of your techniques are atemi-waza? A lot less atemi than the Kempo guys, right? We probably have to worry a lot more about use of force than you guys. An arm bar isn't going to send you to jail as much as a broken side of the head or something. So think about that. Absolutely think about that. As joint lock practitioners, you're more on the safe side. You're not going to be in danger of excessive use of force. Now, if you break that arm, there's a problem. So understand the basic use of force law, just in a nutshell. If you have a way out of there, go. Because if you stick around, here's most of the fights. I don't like you, man. What are you doing looking at my girl? They call that the monkey dance. It can be easily avoided just by using your brain and your mouth. You can talk your way out of it a lot of times. So a lot of things you can avoid being in that type of situation. So if you can get out of there, do it. Don't use any more force than what it takes to get the job done, basically. So keep those things in mind. Now, operating on that premise, so the attack comes in, boom, I'm here. I might not want to go for that nice flashy break or whatever, boom, to here, right? Let's say right there, that's all I need, boom, that's it. That's all it takes to get out of a situation like that. He's just punching you. I might not even need those strikes, because you guys are real good with the ma'ai. Now I'm like, hey, right? It's that basic. So let's just take and kind of make this a little easier for you to grasp without so much striking. We'll just work it as an escape. Strike comes in, I'm just going to come through and vacate. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I heard it smash.
So, does that look pretty simple? All right, grab a partner, have fun.
Let's do it.